Yes, I better start this thing. Put on a happy face. Pretend that we care. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah, hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome. Willkommen. Ciao. Bienvenue. All the others. For some reason, I've got how of doing that lately, but hey, we might as well get back to it. Hope all are well, fine and dandy. Uh, hello, Andrew, Mr. Aquarium Daily, and good old Yella. How you doing? And Steph, IHSP's Tank Twibe. How are you, my dear? Mr. Beginning Duty. That's why I normally sit there quiet for a few seconds at the start, and there you go. But he didn't miss anything good. It was just me having a grumble. Generally, with the replay crew. Yes, exactly. Hello, Pam. How are you, my dear? Yes, we've got to have a grumble when we get to a certain age. Get it out of the system, as it were. So I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. I've had a week. I think usual water changes, work, weather. More bristle noses, weather. Howdy, Dusty. Well, Mary and I did take a trip up to the local garden centre today, have a look around. Decided not to buy anything because that garden centre is rather expensive, and also popped into the Maidenhead Aquatics, which is on site. That might have been the reason I wanted to go. Didn't buy anything. Don't worry, no new fishies. Although they did finally have some snow white plecos in. Snow white bristlies. Ooh. But yeah, they're selling them for £32 each, and they are literally that size. No, the size. I wouldn't even sell them to a seller at that price. So, at that size, I say. So yes, I'm not buying 30-odd pound bristle noses if I can't guarantee their sex, because I need a male and a female. Because you know me, I ain't buying bristle noses just to look at. Big shrimping. How are you doing, Steve? And wonderful, lovely Adele. Hello, my dear. How are you? Have you started your vacay yet? Your 3-week flump? And June is here. Hello, my dear. Smoke them if you got them. Yes, Mary's on the Easter holidays now, so she's got 2 weeks off. My manager's got 2 weeks off. So I officially don't give a crap for 3 weeks. Only 3 weeks? Oh, and Patty's here. Hashtag Roxanne 1000. I take it. Does that mean we're trying to get Little Miss Foxy Roxy up to 1,000 subs, or has she just got there? Because if not, if you aren't subscribed to Roxy, then Roxy, and please do so. If one of the mods would be wonderful and kind enough to pop a link to her channel in. I'll be back to work with Mother's Day in May. We've already done Mother's Day, that's okay. That's out of the way. I haven't got to think about anything like that now till December, so yes. Yeah, I think next one is my birthday, then Father's Day, which obviously I don't bother getting anything for. Whether the fish get me a present for Father's Day is another matter, i.e. Mary. Uh, it's not an awful lot I want. There we go. There's a link to Foxy's Fishies. And Lady Rorschach is listening while playing with Murphy in the rain. That sounds a lot of fun to me. Give Murphy a fuss from me. Fuss and scritches just behind the ears, just in that right spot. Spot that gets the old back leg going. All right, thank you very much for becoming a Zach friend and member, Andrew. I think that might be the first time I've ever called you a member. I call a lot of people members, but it's not normally anything to do with YouTube. Finally cooling down at night. Lovely. Yeah, it's one of the things I don't like about summer is hot nights because I can't sleep when it's hot. But good, thank you very much, Dusty. Jimmy P is here. The royalty has arrived. Best behave myself now. How you doing, Jimmy? Mwah. And Mr. Moist Hose Owl, Wet Socks himself. All the cool kids are turning up now. All the cool kids and Spider-Man's creator. So yes, so I didn't buy the Snow White bristle noses because A, expensive and B, tiny, and C, I know someone I can get a pair from. Thank you very much, June. And, it has also been confirmed that the place I work at is haunted. Many other people are experiencing things now as well, so that's all good. Talk loud, haven't had coffee and in the kitchen. Well, we know what you like, Pam, so coffee, priority. Get coffee. Coffee good, exactly. Myself and Pam share the same blood type, caffeine positive. Um, good one, Adele. Hello, AQZ, or AGZ, sorry, Aqua Garden Zen. Oh dear. So we have only Oscars, only cats, and only other fish. Morning, well, evening. Still light, so yes, because the clocks have gone forward. I reckon within the next couple of weeks I'll be coming home from work in the light. Oh, pardon me. You're only blocked on one account. Oh dear. Don't go blocking June, Jimmy. Bless. Yeah, I can't say much. I've got more people blocked than most do. Oh, Yellow's been teaching his doggo tricks. I was watching out the back window. Very impressive. As long as you're not talking about me, teaching me tricks. Because I'm too old to learn new tricks. Hello, Debs, my dear. How are you? Hope all is well with you and your family. Family ding dong. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. I'm your dog. Ruff. Yeah, every so often YouTube says it doesn't, or they say they don't, but yeah, every so often they go through and delete subscriptions for some bizarre reason. I have no idea why. It's not like it takes up a huge amount of server space compared to 4K videos. Zen's making brekkie. I had cheese and onion rolls for breakfast. I'm cool like that. Food. Then I've got microwave pizzas for tea. Little mini pizzas. Yeah. I wonder why I wasn't getting any. Oh, oh. Andrew's off to get naked. Anything but pork pies. I've not got any pork pies at the moment, Jimmy. I ate them yesterday. Lost like 20 subs the other day. Try not to look. It goes up and down. It all depends on what weirdness is going on with YouTube at the time. Mine will say I've gained 13 subscribers, but it's gone down by 2 or something like that, and I'm thinking, huh? The only reason that the sub count actually matters for anything is getting over that 1,000, and then having the watch time so you can get monetized. Other than that, it really doesn't matter. I mean, let's be honest. It would be better to have 500 subs that all watch all of your content than it would be to have 1,500 subs who watch one in every 3 videos for a couple of minutes. I'm sure something can be done about that, Dusty. I'm sure there can be a much like do with Foxy to get to 1,000. I think last year we did it with Jason and Shanna to get them to 500 to get their passes. Or was it just Shanna? It might be. I can never remember who it was. Here's who Dusty goes 495. You need 500 subs to get a YouTuber pass. In the UK, if there was such a thing, they'd probably set it at around 500,000 or something stupid like that, and then wonder why there's only like one person turns up. There's that elitist BS that the Fish Family's famous for. Yes. Yeah, let's get Dusty up to 500. If you're not subbed to Saints Dust Aquariums, click the link that Yella's just stuck in there and go click subscribe and all the other good buttons. Then come back here, please. It's a. So I'm not sure where I sit on the. It's Sharpe up to 14. That'd be a first pan. Although according to my screen, I am there already. 14 likes from 7 people. That's not bad going. It's yeah. As I say, I'm not sure where I'd stand on the on that kind of level of the elite fish tubers. I've got a decent amount of sub numbers, but pass. Ah, thank you, Salient, and hello, and what up, my dude? And Moose. Bolivian Ram was coloured up and flirting this morning. Always good to know. You do not want to see my hooves, Yella. It's not a pretty sight. And hello, Adam. How are you? Hope all is good with you. And I still get mildly freaked out when that name shows up. Yeah, Adele needs all the subs. Just set my new 10-gallon we got for free. Nice one. Glass tops on it. Fluval Aquasky. Aquasky, sorry. They're my fave now. Back to full of Asian ferns and Java ferns. That'll be a very pretty tank. My thing is, I don't like stuff that has apps. If there's an app to download to make it do all the things it should do, then I don't want it. Because it should all be part of the thing you buy. You shouldn't need another thing to make it work. You know, it's like if you buy a computer game and you then have to pay more to access stuff that is actually already on the disc. It shouldn't happen. A trip to the museum. Ooh, museum trips always fun. Oh, thank you very much, Jean. Yes, I'll say. I know the app is free, but it just means you've got to use your bloody phone to adjust your fish tank, which is wrong. Hello, Graham. Rocking the Aquarium Adventures merch today. Ow, as I stub my cigarette out of my leg. That's going to leave a mark. Yeah, there should be buttons on it that you can press to do all the stuff. It shouldn't have to get your phone to adjust the light that you paid for. Exactly. App. No. Go away, app. Put the adjustments on the light itself. Free entry, consider paying for access to one of the exhibits. If it's something cool you want to see and you want to support the museum, then go for it. Also, see if you can do some filming when you're there. Some museums allow it, others don't. I kind of knew the answer. Only Oscar's other fish. Oh, hello, Aubergine. I say, yeah, I did ask about filming at work because obviously haunted. But yes, obviously it's a no-no because of security reasons and also not wanting the company to be associated with spooky goings on. That's all right, Jimmy. We'll let you off for misspelling names. Oh, hello, Antiques and Aquariums. Is that a new name, a new person, or someone who's changed their name? That sounds kind of similar to the sort of things I do. No flash photography is a sensible thing, but yeah, this is it. You're generally okay with filming stuff as long as you don't make an ass of yourself or get in other people's way or do that thing that happens in gyms where people set up to film their workouts and then get really upset when someone else walks past. It's a public space. People are allowed to be there. It's dusty. There we go. Well, there's your problem. Multiple channels. That's where you're spreading your subs about. Yeah, so I don't do the antiques. I just do the old places and actual antiques. Sorry. It's a long-running joke about how young America is as a country and the fact that it's not actually old enough to have antiques yet. Um, we don't necessarily class something as an antique in the UK until it's like 200, 300, 400 years old. All ferns grow if they're cramped in a 10-gallon. If there's enough food, they will grow. Plants don't mind being a bit crowded out. If anything, it will increase the competition. Just make sure they've got plenty of food. I.e., don't gravel rack up all the poop and chuck a bunch of snails in there. Now, relics are over 1,000 years old. It's a long-running joke. You know, I've lived in houses that are a lot older than America. I'm going to stick some tiny fish like embers and neons in there. I'd be tempted to stick a couple of clowniplex in there as well. 2 or 3 clown plecos. Let's be nice and say 2, because otherwise people will complain about overcrowding. So if you've got a lot of plants in there, then pleco poop is a good thing for them. If you see how crazy my garden is, that's pleco poop. Had 2 clown plecos. Both died. Can't keep them alive. Other plecos, no problem. So I've got 3 clowns. They're all over a year old now. And they started out in my shrimp tank, which is pH 7.8. Planted, blah, blah, blah. And they're now in my black water tank, which I can't measure the pH of, because it's way lower than any of the test kits will go through. Hello, my lady. Pleco poop is the first thing I hear coming in. Well, there's a lot of it around here, Lady Diane. And old Danny boy. We'll have to get Steve to start playing that on the harmonica. Mwah, to you, Lady Di. It's good. Time out the A&A channel just because. You just got an itchy trigger finger, have you, Yella? Just feel the need to do some modding. Good evening. I like that one, Danny boy. That's a good one. So trying to think what has been going on around here fishy wise. No new breedy, although, well, some are looking rather breedy. Posh Cribs are doing their breedy thing, and she's all coloured up and giving it the look at me. The Epistos are the same way, and so are the Nanakara, but there's been no sign of any Higgies or Bubbalas. And yeah, we've got another batch of Super Reds on the way as well. So yay. I'll say if you're going with all those plants and you're just going to stick some embers or neons in there, you may well be able to get away with minimal water changes. You'd just be replenishing any nutrients and minerals that get taken out of the water by the plants and fish. Hello, Angelique. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear about your puffer. Oh, bless it. On the 3 aquariums, still staying strong. Stay strong. Is the sad thing with our fisheries. They do have an annoying tendency to die fairly regularly, which is how the business, how all the shops stay in business. People kill their fish. I'm not saying you killed it, but it happens. Okay. Well, speaking of which, we've got a Shelley war going on. Calm down, you silly apiths. What are you trying to eat? That's poop, you daft. Observation seems suddenly a lot of us are losing fish. Suddenly. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that comes in fits and starts. It might be weather related. Howdy, Mufti. And there's my little nut muffin. Emily, how are you, my dear? Wonderful to see you. So, when can we expect the OnlyFans, given the reaction to your picture on the back of your shrimpy book on Reddit? I did warn you about covering the girls up. I did say if you show cleavagey, then you're going to get those kind of comments. Yes, the tribute. Yes, there are entire websites dedicated to that. APATH. APATH. It's kind of a southeastern British word for something being a bit daft or a bit silly, an APATH. But yes, that's the way it is. Queefy's here. Speaking of perversions, how you doing, Tommy? Yes, there are too many creeps online. I know, I'm one of them. See, this is why I knew that you having a picture looking attractive with a bit of cleavage on show would get that kind of response. Because, yeah. Oh, let me just stick the light on. There we go. Not that it will make much difference. Oh, Yella's retracting messages. But yes, it's yeah, lots of pervs online. I'm just old, open, and honest about it. Look, the wall got lighter. Yeah, exactly. It's because the light is literally right up there, and the shade on it is absolutely filthy, and it's an ancient fluorescent light bulb in it, so it takes a while to do anything. I called him Tomboy. Well, I'm sure he's been called worse. That is a small part of my DVD collection, yes. Yeah, there's 3 more shelves there. There's yeah, there's over 1,000 DVDs and Blu-rays. Howdy, Griffin. How you doing? Doing water changes a little bit. Yes, all good. Lots of people call me many names, and I respond to most all of them. Yes, this is the thing we do, isn't it, as men? We're used to getting insulted, so we just take it in our stride and go, what? Good movies, Dusty. Um, yeah, I like my horror movies, my dark horror movies, um, psychological horror movies, violent movies. Uh, yeah, generally I'm not a huge fan of the blockbusters because I turned my head the other day because somebody said dumbass in the store. Didn't know, maybe that's what, yeah, I'd do the same. Someone says, oh, you dumbass. I'm going to turn around and go, what? I mean, there's a young lad at work whose surname is Bygrave. I've taken to calling him Max, and he's not old enough to get the joke. He's not familiar with who Max Bygraves was. Do you think of the new It? I like the original better. Yes, the original was better. The book is even better. Birds are okay. Canary thinks there's a pit bull biting me. Yeah, canaries do that. Yeah, canaries are little bustards. They'll peck away, and you're like, seriously? Your claws are scratching me more than your beak is. I don't know who Max Bygrave. I'm Max Headroom. It's did I miss Jeff? Hello, Jeff. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Playing the Resi 2 remake. Got me in the mood to watch the first movies. Oh, yeah. I'll say the first Silent... Well, both the Silent Hill movies are pretty good. First one's better than the second, but it's better because it's got less Sean Bean in it. Um, never a day goes by without some water changes. Yeah, the first chapter of it is 14 pages of how hard it was raining. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. Anything that's good, it should take patience. The Resi ones that got worse the more they made. Yeah, they did. They just got worse and worse and worse. Just as long as you don't get wrong, or wrong, as Nor, forgive me for you. Just as long as you don't get in trouble for watching the first couple of Resident Evil movies where you get to see Milla Jovovich's twat. That scene where she's on the hospital bed and gets off, you see the full frontal accidentally. She didn't realise that they had actually put that in the movie until she filmed the commentary for the DVD. I've not seen the newest one. Oh, Andrew's back and no longer naked. He's got the mangini on now. Or just the willy warmer. I've not seen the most recent one though. I think I stopped. Can't remember the name of it. It was one where they basically went into the Matrix kind of thing. In my boxes as usual. Yeah, fair enough. The only reason I get dressed is because I'm on camera. Jeff Olam. I've changed my name. I'm now Jeff Olam. Um, Elevator's not worth watching. Wasted an hour of my life. Yeah, but I was in Avatar, so that was 3 hours of my life I wasted. That I'm never going to get back. That's one of those things that it might be kind of entertaining to take your brain out and watch, but yeah, it's. I've not really watched many new movies for quite a while. Mostly because I haven't got a DVD player at the moment, but it's it's just not things coming out that interest me really. And I see all the various trailers for stuff on YouTube ads. And you go, oh, that one looks vaguely interesting from the trailer. And then you look it up and you go, oh no, that sounds absolutely horrific. And not in a good way. Oh, that's what we're going crazy over, is it? Ah. We got an ex-Shelley that is now Shelley food. Best movie I've seen while long time was Dead Silence. I've not seen that one. Right. I'm going to be very unprofessional, and I'm going to remove this ex-Shelley, and then hopefully they will calm down. They're going really nuts in there at the moment. Oh, stick that back there. Come here, ex-Shelley. Nope, missed. Where you gone? Come on, stop blowing around. That's gotcha. In the water change bucket. Go down the sink tomorrow. What we got? How the Black Roses doing? Ah, Black Roses, that would be someone else. And also, for all your aquarium needs, if he's still here, we have the Aquarium Adventures towel. Vivarium. Again, that's a new one. I've not seen that one. And I've probably got dozens, if not hundreds, of movies that no one's ever heard of, but I tend to like them. And just like that, the Shelleys have all calmed down again. Hey, are they all good now? Yeah. Thank you. pH. The black water. Yes. Andrew's Black Roses. Ooh. Oh. These Rotten Tomatoes are rarely wrong about which movies are good ones. Yeah, but sometimes you don't want a good movie. Sometimes you want a bad movie. Something like Romeo and Juliet. Who's sending me random messages? There we go. That'd be the other Adam Moore. If there's one you've not seen that you want freaky, Lovely Molly. That is a very freaky movie. What Shelleys do I have? I have the Neolamprologus similis. They look like a multifasciatus, just with the stripes the opposite way around. Anyone grow mermaid weed? There we go. Similis Shelleys. Let's see if we can actually get it focused through the algae. There's one. Hold the camera a little sharp, that might help. But yeah, silly little shelly dwellies. It's far too many for a 15-gallon tank, but you know, I only put off. I'll put 5 in there to start with. Fear and Loathing, yeah, that's a great movie. You got the Maltese, yeah. So they're very similar fish. I mean, I think they're just from a different part of the same lake. That's it. But yeah, when it comes to temperament and keeping them exactly the same as the multifasciatus, yeah, shellies are awesome fish. You can't go wrong. Just add salt, hard water, some rocks, salt, sand, hard water, some rocks, bunch of escargot shells, and add food once a day. Job done. And Tamper Tom is cleaning the garage with the Sharpie. I'm assuming you're not meaning I'm cleaning it with a small permanent marker pen. Oh look, there's a boat in here. What, 20 and a 40 litre? Yes. Yeah, yeah. Same thing with like shrimp. You don't overstock shrimp. Same way you don't overstock chilies. They overstock themselves. Um, it's some fish just do that. They like being in large numbers, and so they're relatively easy to sell as well. Because they're easy to look after and you don't need any posh plants or expensive filters or special foods or all the things that put most people off certain fish, especially when you live in a hard water area like I do. Shellies are a really good seller. Oh, Angelique's frog has had his food. I can't open the back door at the moment because of the constant noise from the fraugy that's going on in the pond. Yeah. Simply sad, good zombie movie. I also like movies that aren't in English, so Korean or Russian, Eastern European, Japanese. Fry all hiding up in the plants. Since yesterday, I took one and safety test the new tank setup. Well, I'm pretty sure one fry isn't going to cause a massive ammonia spike. Actually, so I've probably talked about this before, but it's different people, different times, we might have different thoughts on it. So people who get a relatively smallish tank for a better, let's say with a 5 gallon, maybe a 10 if they're being posh, and they plant it, and then they cycle it for however long, adding ammonia and testing it every day. And Amsterdam, it is a fun movie. I can imagine a horror movie set in Amsterdam would be quite amusing. But if you've got, let's say, a 5-10 gallon tank, it's all nicely planted out, and you put one better in there, would you, as a more experienced fish keeper perhaps, or for sure, would you even bother cycling it? Do you think that tank will even hold a cycle, given how much ammonia that the plants would take up compared to how much the better will actually produce? Because I'm pretty sure, to me at least, that if you just pop one better into a planted 5 or 10 gallon tank, you're not going to need to cycle it. Adele's put 10 mile guppies in the new tank to help it cycle a bit quicker. Ricky, Ritesh, how are you? Hope all is good. I'm okay, just everyone else. Yeah, I'll say people look down on the fishing cycle so badly. Drunk AF. Good lad. But a sensibly done fishing cycle is a lot quicker than a fishless cycle. You know, 2 weeks maximum to cycle a tank with fish in it versus weeks or months without. It just seems a bit silly to me, a bit of a waste of time. Lava rock was afraid it might cause issues. It's so big and had so much soil and stuff on it. Wash it as best as you could. Yeah, if you wash it out, you wash it out. You should be okay. There might be some stuff inside it, but don't worry about it. People do worry way too much about these things. I think a lot of people do forget that fish live in nature, and like not everything is always perfect in nature. There's going to be the odd contaminant gets into the water, or toxic element, or heck, there are plenty of like mountain streams that have arsenic in them and things like that that have very healthy populations of fish. Most plants will only flower at or above the surface, except for things like Anubias, which mine go crazy. Entire family's going on a trip, and I'm the acting chairman. I'm the MD of the company that Dad's done. I can do everyone exactly. Do it your way. Yeah, so it's a balancing act. It's an ecosystem. Eakins, how you doing, Ian? Hope all is well with you, my friend. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. So it's one of those things that there are so many rules that people make up about keeping fish in glass boxes that they slavishly follow without actually understanding them. And a lot of them are just, why? Oh, but you need this light and this much CO2 and this water. No, you don't need that. I know I did that video a couple of weeks ago about fishy fallacies. I could probably do one a week for about a year. Yeah, most people don't realise we drink our neighbour's pee every time you turn the tap on, and poop. Goes down the drain, goes back to the waterworks, and gets filtered out and processed and cleaned up a bit, and sent back. Which is one reason why they're having to cut back on antibiotics. Oh, don't get me wrong, Dustin. We all hate our fish dying if it's something we could have prevented. But it's sometimes people do overthink things. Try to keep the tank too clean, and as a result, there's not enough muck in there for it to be healthy. Where do you live, pea drinker? Oh, I just come from a lake. How do you still water? Well, you're drinking animal pee. There's going to be, even if there are no more animals around that lake using it to drink or defecate or bathe or pee, it's all the fish in it. Instead of spending hundreds on a full spectrum light, I bought full spectrum strip light, stuck it on with a white LED that came in the kit. Strip light cost me $30. Yeah, so 30 Australian dollars. None of my lights are expensive. I mean, that is a whatever the bottom of the range Nicrew is. Do those plants look like they're struggling? Yeah, it's a. Yeah, it looks all pretty healthy to me. After years having a Sunday fun day, gone now with all this drunk idiots. It's a bit offensive. Well, you ain't got to worry too much about that, Ricky. But have a good one, my friend. Enjoy your hangover. 4-inch gravel substrate and a cap with 2 inches of sand. That'll do the job. I mean, can you actually see anywhere? It's not quite so visible now, but with the Shelly tank where the sand is so deep, you can actually see where the anoxic filtration is taking place, where the oxygen-free bacteria are living. You actually see the pockets in the sand. Well, thank you very much, Dan. For linky poo to the fallacy video. And favorite is you can't grow plants in sand. Yeah, you want to bet? You can. You just have to leave some of the fish poop in there so they've got some nutrients to grow in. Because what is probably happening with the people who say you can't grow plants in sand is they're planting plants in sand and religiously vacuuming out every tiny little bit of waste they can find in the tank, keeping the sand absolutely pristine and wonderful, and starving the plants. If you've got a stem plant, as it were, that feeds through its leaves rather than a root feeder, a water column feeder rather than a root feeder, yeah, we're fine. If you've got no nutrients in the substrate, a root feeder is going to starve. G'day, Marquis Mark, Baron of Barras, Yeeter of Yowies, and Dealer of Drop Bears. Do I use RO water for the Nanacara Anomala? I don't. I use rainwater. I wouldn't recommend for everyone to use rainwater. Be careful. I live in a very rural area with very little, if big cities. And it also is coming off my shed roof, which has got about 2 inches of sphagnum moss growing on it. So it's filtered through all the moss and the peat and the dead leaves, and then goes into the water butt, hence I call it butt water, and then sits there to off gas anything nasty. And then I run it through a coffee filter to make sure I get any bits out. And comes pre-tannined as well because it's run through peat moss. So, you know. But yeah, so the pH in that tank is now below 6. Is that rural? The Wookiees run wild and stream weekly. Yes, we do. Apparently, playing Chewbacca is what made Peter Mayhew give up smoking. It was a pig to take off the hat, have a ciggy, and put it back on again. Not in town, but close enough. Yeah, I'd try it on something you're not too fussed about first. Um, the reason I figured it would be safe is because I have a garden pond that is fed purely by rainwater. So, it's a thriving pond. Everything in it does well. So I'm pretty sure the water's safe. Wonder about melting snow to use. Fresh snow you'd probably be okay with. Or snow that's been there for donkey's years, like glacial snow. Just don't use the yellow stuff. That will give you ammonia spikes. Wash my hair in rainwater, both in a bucket out the back. You got there before I did then, Dan. I mean, come on, look. I make the jokes, but I've not exactly got a lot left up there, have I? Let's be honest. I'm just making the most of what I've got while I've still got it. Pondering. Yeah, it was a. I was like wondering. I was like, because literally where I am is pretty much as rural as the UK gets. So, I mean, if I lived in a big city or especially in a big city, I definitely wouldn't use the rainwater. Moose misses the rain. Oh bless. Not been any shortage of that here lately. We've had floods. It's always interesting. But there are certain roads around here which, if you live around here, you don't go down after there's been a heavy rain. Dusty can't spell. What did you misspell in an amusing fashion? Bless the rains out down in Africa, yes. And if you've not heard it, Leo Maracchioli's version of that song is awesome. Which is Frog Leap Studios on YouTube. He's got so many sort of metal covers and metal versions of things. Let me stick that in the chat because I'm pretty sure even Sam won't have a link to Frog Leap. Although Adele's beaten me to it. But yes, Leo is. Yeah, he's done some good, some bad, but he made Dance Monkey listenable. So in my book, that deserves some kind of Oscar. There we go. Yella's found it. Leo Maracchioli. Very, very non-Norwegian name, but that's where he's from. Yeah, Africa is one of the really good ones. Oh, got to take the human fry to a pal's house. Keep us on the car. Right. Everyone, time to tell me things you know about Dan that you wouldn't want his human fry to hear. But things like that time you went on a date with a drag queen and didn't realise it. That's why his bum hurts when the weather's in the wrong direction. Get the pH down one way or another. Yeah, also, my water is like rock hard. We're talking, 8.2 out the tap and like 18 kh. Ludicrously hard water. So yeah, adding things like pH down does not do any good. It's because of the sheer amount of KH in there. Heavy feeding, high temps, you grow them out faster. Yeah, but unfortunately, the bigger they get, the more they cost. And you can't sell human fry. Listen to the musical Seven Brides and Seven Brothers. I was like, turn it off, I can't take it. Yeah, that's kind of understandable. So I've been listening to a lot of Arion lately, so that's kind of musical. It's prog rock opera. So, you know, like the rock operas like Pink Floyd or The Who would do, like Tommy or Brick in the Wall, that kind of thing. Yeah. Super cool dude as well. You can't sell them legally. Yeah, I know. And the thing is, most of the ones Dan's got are the ones that parents have already got rid of. Water here is high pH, almost 0 kH. I have to use aragonite and crushed coral to keep the, you know, because otherwise it will crash real hard, real fast if you're not careful. Last night's stream, but on treating nitrate test solution in an open wound. Ooh. Nitrate test solution in an open wound. I'm guessing that's probably going to sting like a mofo. See you later, Andrew. Water test awesome yesterday. Yeah, I mean, literally the only tank I have been doing any kind of water testing on is the black water tank. Because the rest of them are just stable AF. Oh, pardon me. And nothing really changes. I've been up and running that long that I know what size water changes to do to keep the numbers down. So I've kind of stopped doing the water tests on that one now as well, because I can't test the pH anymore because it's gone way below what the water tests will test. I'm actually going to have to get some pH testing strips, like chemists' ones, litmus paper, and actually use that, I think. Moose and you did water tests on stream. Ah, yes, you got to clean your wounds with hydrochloric. Yes, everyone knows that. Hello, be good. Welcome. New names are always good to see. I prefer the be careful to being good, personally. Rinse Icex for antifungal and bacteria prime, and then some stress coat for the aloe. It'd work. And Clark's here. Howdy doody. In the mini fish room. A holistic approach, go for aquarium salt. Oh yeah, a bit of rock salt in a wound, that'll do well. Says the person who's regularly done that in the past for infections. But yeah. Although things that modelling taught me, something that's really good for when you cut yourself, cellulose or lacquer thinner. That's really good for cleaning infections and cuts. Might sting a little. To the point where you'd rather have the infected wound than do it. But, ooh, Lady Diane's getting naked. Quick, everyone. Quick. Turn your cameras around so we can watch. Yeah. And then they're using the super glue to close up a hobby knife wound, and then thinking, I know what, I'll spray the super glue accelerator on it as well. That'll set it really fast. Yeah, that'll give you third-degree burns because it's a thermic reaction that it sets a super glue with. Yeah, that gets real hot real fast. So you end up with a cup that's got blisters under it. I did. That's how I know it's a bad idea. It was actually less painful when I flicked molten solder onto my leg. Another safety tip from Sharpe: do not solder electronics, sorry, in the American, solder electronics in your boxes. Forget, do your soldering, you know, flick the excess iron off the tip of the iron straight onto your thigh. That really hurts. Well, I say that, it doesn't hurt straight away. Hurts about a week later when the metal falls off. And you just got an open wound there. That wasn't good. Didn't get infected. You know, something to do with having molten lead put onto it killed any infection. Do as he says, not as he does. I've done it, so you don't have to. Yeah, pretty much. It's just the way of the world. Sharpie does stuff without thinking. And another tip, if you buy a soldering iron, at the end of the handle, excuse me, at the end of the handle, before you get to the hot bit, there's a protuberance. Don't buy one where that bit's round. Go for a hexagonal one. You know why? Because the round one will roll on the bench when you put it down. And when you don't look, you stick your hand down to pick up the iron from where you put it down, and it's rolled 180 when you pick it up by the hot end. Did that one at college. That wasn't fun. At least it was cauterized. That one definitely was. If you don't feel pain, you just hear a sizzling sound and wonder what's going on. Then you feel the pain. Yeah, don't try to put out a house fire with bare feet. Your skin melts. Yeah, that'll happen too. And if you get if you're clearing the drains with caustic soda, some do, but some don't, Adele. If you're clearing out the drain with caustic soda and you happen to get some on your fingers, wash it off straight away. Because otherwise you'll be going, well, my fingers feel kind of oily and greasy. They still feel oily and greasy. That's the caustic soda melting the fats in your skin. Yeah, that's not good either. Trust me, been there, done that. And plus that teeny little metal stand thing, that only really works if you're paying attention. Oh, I've done all the injuries, Jeff, don't worry about it. Had a hair straightener fell on my arm as a kid, didn't feel it till I saw it. Meanwhile, no more fingerprints. Yes, this is probably why my phone will not accept my fingerprint as a this is me trying to open you. Sister was messing with my hair. I could use a pair of hair straighteners. It's getting rather curly again. And long. Yeah. I never used to have curly hair, it just happened as I've got older. Who was it? It was one of the boxers. I don't think it was George Foreman. I think it was someone for him. They didn't have any fingerprints because he used to work in a pineapple canning factory, and there's a protein in pineapple juice that eats your fingerprints, basically. So the end of your fingers are smooth. I've got a hair straighteners, I need hair. Yeah, and you just think of all the money you'd be spending on shampoo, Mark. I mean, it'd be quicker to wash your face, but and hairdressers' appointments, combs, and the Jack for direction. Turns in minutes. We get weird. Parents had the bacon tray when I was a kid. I grabbed it out of the microwave. Too short. Boiling grease ran down my arm and I had to have a skin graft. Ouch. I probably should have had a skin graft somewhere at some point, but I haven't. Adele's not seen a hairdresser for years. But we can tell that by the length of your hair, Adele. I mean, if you did go to a hairdresser now, they'd probably cry about cutting it. That's what happened when mine was really long and I had it all cut off. Poor hairdressery girlie, she was in tears cutting it all off. And she was trying to be gentle and delicate and like cutting off a bit at a time. I'm like, no, literally just get out the buzzers and not smart. It's nothing to do with being smart or dumb, Dusty. It's just one of them things. Some of us males grow out of it, others don't. I just never grew out of it. I still do dumb stuff. Now, my way of checking whether a wire is live is to grab it. If I get a buzz, it's live. If I don't, it's not. Come on, I'm the guy that peed on the electric fence twice. Let's try turning that light on as well. Because all the tank lights are staying on, so there's lighter behind me. Last time I went to the hairdresser, after about 3 inches off it, she cut like 2 centimeters. Just gave it tiniest of little trims, and you're like, no more. Little brother straight up palmed a running wood stove. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, no, it's how we learn, isn't it? You get told, don't touch that, it's hot. Don't touch that, it's hot. Don't touch that, it's hot. And you go, well, how hot? Surely it can't be hot all the time. Yeah, that's hot. Electric fence is broken current. Yes, it is. Which means it feels like you're being punched every time that it goes through. And there are certain parts of a man's body he doesn't want to be punched in, and that is one of them. Yeah, that was the first time we did that. First and last, yes. There's a. Yep, we've got another scar showing. Oh well. I hate electric fences. I asked my sister to help me out the tree. She dropped me over both bones in my. Yeah, I've fallen out of trees. I fell out of a tree into a ditch that was full of stinging nettles and brambles. That was fun. I'd rather have fallen out of the tree straight on the concrete, it'd hurt less. Trying to pull yourself out of a ditch full of brambles and nettles in shorts and a vest. It's just dropped the radio on my head from a tree. That just sounds like your sister being a bee. Quite possibly might have been on purpose, Moose. Oh, I'm dangerous. Yes, the good old British stinging nettle. Yeah, I guess you probably have them in America as well. They grow everywhere, so it's one of those guarantees where if you clear a piece of land in the UK and leave it for a year, it will have 3 plants growing on it. It'll be nettles, brambles, blackberries, and elder trees. They're the three that guarantee will turn up. Peed in the grass next to a friend's house, didn't know they had an electric fence. Yep. Yeah. Fell off a balcony on a corner. Jeez, Jeff. And Jeremy, he is here, the bullfrog himself. Oh, do tell, Ian. Funny story with Nettles and the little brother. Why did you fall off the balcony and break your arm? Sometimes we do dumb stuff. I mean, it's at least once a year you'll hear about someone gone on holiday, normally to somewhere like Magaluf or Ibiza, one of the Spanish islands, and then they'll think they're being clever and they'll try and jump off the balcony into the pool and not realise that it's a lot further away than they thought it was and miss. And yeah. There's a fine till turn 50. Yeah. Oh, Dad, you knew I had to. Fine till turn 50. Broke my foot and smashed the arm ball socket. Only got half of it left. Can't lift arm above head. Ouch. Sleeping bag was thrown at me and it knocked me over the railing. Oof. Yeah, the ball is fine with me. It's just the socket is mostly missing. Mostly that side and partially that side. If you need a skin graft, I can give you some off my bottom asking for a don't. Yeah, that's the ongoing joke with me is that when some archaeologist digs me up in a few hundred years, they're going to wonder what the hell happened. Mind you, if you gave me a skin graft from your butt, Dan, then at least it has some hair on it. Sorry. The series of unfortunate events are gay. It's like a BB gun war shot him in the leg, dropped to the ground. As he's putting his hand down, right into a pile of big dog poo, and then just say 230 squats on this very intense workout. Yeah, no. It'd take me months. Wouldn't clean his hand off and grabbed and leave it as a stinging nettle. Something about me. If you want to squat. That's not normally something else begin with S that most people want to do when they think about me. I mean, it involves mostly the same position, but you only squat the once. Yeah, we all grabbed hold of stinging nettles and brambles and thistles and whatever. It's the what is it? Not the cow pasty. Yeah, yeah, just not the good kind of squirt, yellow. The Taco Bell squirt. What's it called? Giant hogweed. That's the one. We have it in the UK. You do not want to touch that. We have a loss of medical history. I think all the pins and screws are torture devices. Quite possibly. No, not teabagging. Yeah, it's a. Ooh. Yeah, no one wants that image. I bet you I would have been wetting myself laughing. Shoot him in the leg, falls over, puts his hand in dog poop. Pigweed, yeah, or hogweed as we call it. Yeah, because even if you just brush up against that stuff, you'll have a bit of a reaction. It'll be sore for quite a while, but then where you've had that reaction is then permanently super susceptible to sun and will literally come up in blisters anytime you get sun on it. So yeah, avoid giant hogweed like the plague. I remember we did a sponsored school walk once. It was a 10-mile walk, and yeah, it was basically through a field of hogweed. It was like, I'm not touching this stuff. I'm staying well away. And yes, there were other kids who were pulling the leaves off. And yes, they have had problems. Um, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I can imagine that one, Dusty. And that is a good one from your dad. Um, yeah, I've used deep heat and things on muscle sprains and strains and things in the past, and forgotten to wash my hands afterwards, and then gone to have an itch or an adjustment or rub my face. And, oh yeah, that's not good. And the golf course have to weed tons of nettles every year. The new guys have no idea and go ham in shorts and t-shirts. Oh yeah. If you're not used to stinging nettles, once you know, you know. And you go, those are stinging nettles. I'm not going near them in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm going to be wearing long sleeves and denim and gloves and boots and a face mask. Cousin once as a kid shaved his head, was crying about it. That's how if you rub dog poop on his head, it'd grow back faster. Couldn't stop him quick enough. Every year I'm like, you're 30, how the hell do you not know? Yeah, this is it. If you, I mean, oh, bloody glasses. I've experienced it with, you know, townies or city kids where they don't hang out and go around and muck about outside like I used to as a kid, being a country boy, as it were. So they're not used to the perils of nature. They're not used to which plants are spiky or stingy or look tasty but are actually poisonous. Um, yes. Howdy, Dan. Had some proper weirdo in today. Look just like you. Yes, I was saying earlier I was in. Yes. Myself and the Wild Mary. We're having a look around knot cuts and we thought, we may as well pop in, see if there's any fisheries that I fancied. There were, but they were a bit on the small side, I would just say. And yes, they were plecos. Yes, they were the Snow Whites. um, if I'm going to be buying Snow White plecos, you better be damn sure I want to know what sex they are. And at that size, they're not sexable. Um, it's like, I want a male and a female. I should be able to get a decent amount for those if I breed those. Mind you, I also want a female lemon blue eye, but eventually, once I clear some of the. Thank you very much, Dusty. Have a good time. Don't work too hard. Yeah, we're kind of plecked out at the moment. if they get bigger and I can sex them, then I'll let you know. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's and that's why I end up with 2 male L144s, was because you know, they were rather small when I got them, and although one looked male and one looked female, because one was starting to get bristles and the other one wasn't, and they were the same size, it just turned out one was a late developer. So now we have 2 males getting grumpy with each other, having the occasional fight. At some point, I will catch one of them and sell him. Jeff's got about 1 million albinos. So this is one of the things I've found with the bristlenoses, especially, is you can sell the commons by the 100. You know, because they sell like a $5 usually, roundabout. But then things like super reds or lemon blue eyes or albinos or long fins, despite all snow whites, despite the fact they're no harder to breed, right? It's exactly the same fish, just a different colour morph. But because they sell for so much more, they're a lot harder to shift, which is why I've been ending up with so many super reds. So what we've got at the moment, we've got 150, 300. Yeah, we've got about 400. We've got about 600 commons at the moment, and about 450 super reds. No, 600 because there's another batch in the cave. No E in the word albino. Yes, but it's not an English word, is it? It's originally Latin or Greek, one or the other. An advertisement. Yeah, it's the problem I have is I hear the American pronunciations of these things so often that I do sometimes use them, which is fine when you're talking with Americans or multiculturally, multinationally on YouTube. But when you're talking to English people, you get some very strange looks. When you start talking about albinos and algae and garages. Oh, aluminium, not aluminum. Yeah, Clark, he's been decaling bristlies. It's so much easier when you do it that way, isn't it, Clark? You go, right, 5 days, take them out of the cave, into a breeder box, leave them there for a month or so, or garage, not garage. Yeah, so you take them straight out of the cave into the breeder box, from there into the grow out tank, which is bare bottomed and has got a filter, a heater, and a bit of wood in it. And that's about it. Because they're a lot easier to catch. Bun Bun, darling, how are you? Boots and bonnets, yes. And wings. Because the things at front left, front right, rear left, rear right are wings. They're not fenders. A fender is a guitar. Moose likes algae. I'd say it's the soft and the hard G. That's the difference there. We speak the same language, just with different accents. Different parts of the UK use different pronunciations of things. Even something as simple as a bread roll can be known as about 30 different things if you travel the UK. I think people wait to see if prices would go down. I won't sell my blue eyes as cheaply as my commons or my super reds. Don't realise it costs a bit of money raising these fish up. It does. It costs money to raise them. Yeah, it had an update, which, as we all know, with anything that has an update, all the update does is make it worse. Yeah, it's a weird one, Jeff, because you've spent more on the fish that you're breeding because they're a rarer fish, but they're just as easy to breed as the common version. You get just as many of them, and you're selling them for like 3 times as much. And that wasn't my choice. I mean, it was the price I got offered was what, £1 for a standard bristlenose, which fair enough, you know, it's 150 quid per spawn, or £3 for a super red. I was like, okay, but then the majority of people just want, I want one of them algae eating sucker fish, which they mean a bristlenose pleco, and then they get shown the various different flavours in the store, and they go, no, I'll just take that one as a £5. I just go for the cheapest one. The general thing, most people, again, I say most people, I'm not talking us, like the fish fam, the fishy hobbyists. Most people will get their new aquarium, they'll get half a dozen guppies or neons, an angelfish, and a bristlenose. That's what they'll put in it. So those are the things that sell lots. Which, because of that, they get bred a lot, which means angelfish really aren't worth doing because they're a lot of hassle to breed. Well, not a lot of hassle, but they're more hassle, need more space and all sorts, and can produce way more than you can sell. Neons can be an absolute pig to breed. Again, getting the breeding is easy. Actually, getting enough fry to survive, to make it worthwhile, is hard. Angelfish dollars are better than pleco dollars. They take a lot of room. Plecos don't. 3 feet per gallon, that's what you do with plecos. I'm not joking either. Those are 28 litre, which is what, 6 gallon-ish? 6.5 gallon tanks. I got 150 bristle noses in. And the ones on the far right, they're all an inch long. So, what's that? 120 would be 10 feet. 30 is. So you've got around 15 feet of bristle nose in a 6.5 gallon tank. And yeah, as I was saying, you don't get more money for the angels, so you go with the one that's easier. Yeah, the angels take more time. I'm getting $1 per 3-inch, so I get £1 at an inch. I mean, if they're 3 inches, I still get £1, but that's just because you get the odd one that keeps escaping. So African sittlers would sell, nope, got a bunch and they won't budge. Again, that's people are very picky about exactly which one they want. Color wise, and especially when they're young, they're not colored up, so how about stunting? I had 50 plecos in a 10 gallon, they all got stunted at inch. I don't get the stunting going on. They all grow quite happily, and they don't grow necessarily as quickly as they could. But generally what will happen, and the usual plan is, the bottom tank, the one down there, is a 14 gallon. So the general plan is to sell out of that one. When that's empty, move the next biggest batch down. And then as I get empty tanks, I can split spawns between two tanks. But I need to get rid of these guys. Lemia Perugiae. So we can probably sell about 50 of those if we can find someone to take them. And shift the rest back in there. And then I can split those buggers up because some of them are getting on for 2 inches long. Ton of effort for $1 each. It is, but it pays. It's not really a ton of effort. They're easy enough to catch. They're easy enough to feed. And they pay the electric bill. Mrs. Snail's my cash crop, 50 cents each. I get 50 pence per coloured pink or blue ram's horn. So, yeah. Red zebra moonas and dragon blood peacocks, if anyone wants. I haven't got a tank for them, Jeff. But yeah, so live bearers, generally, the common live bearers aren't worth breeding because everyone breeds them. Yes, the LFS do take the Lemia Perugiae when they've got space and they've sold the last lot. But there's another LFS that doesn't take for money, they take for livestock credit. And I'm pretty sure he wants some of them because he's been struggling to get them in again. He got them in once and hasn't had them in since. So what I'll do is I'll drop him a message, ask if he wants any. If he says yes, but it'll be store credit, I will then go, okay, I'll just take whatever cherry shrimp you got in equal value, as it were, and job done. How quick can I grow a batch up to selling size? Usually about 3 months-ish, 3 to 4 months. But when you're getting a batch every month from each pair, you end up starting to have to cull. Which is what I'm probably going to have to do with the batch of super reds that Fred's on at the moment. So yeah, as I was saying, live bearers, everyone breeds live bearers, blah blah, they're not worth breeding. Something a bit rarer that not everywhere has, like the Lemia Perugiae, I get the same for one of them as I get for a bristlenose. So if they were guppies, I'd get like 20 pence. And they're no harder work than the guppies. They're a lot hardier fish because they are standard. They've not been inbred for many generations, like guppies have and line bred for various things. That's how they look in the wild. You can see there's blooming hundreds of them everywhere in there. And they're gorgeous little fishies as well. LFS has asked, what can I breed for you? Angelfish is the answer. Did that grin caught the size. They said, cool, bring me a dozen. And you're like, I've got 300 of them. Like, oh, we only need 10. Yeah, that is the problem. Yeah, plants around here tend not to sell too well. People tend to want them all nicely packed in the rock wool or in a sealed plastic bag or something like that, rather than just bare roots. Black mollies are the best sellers. Again, you can sell a lot, but you don't get a lot for them. That's the thing with breeding for profit, is figuring out what does sell and what you can get a good amount for that you can then sell. Yeah, it's working out what works in your area. If I was somewhere, soft water, I would be breeding Caradina shrimp, not Neo Caradina. But yeah, shrimp are always a good one. Flew off the table at the swap. Yeah, because they're homebred, healthy fish, and that, to me, that should always, you know, carry a premium. The fact that they're homebred locally. Mark had a good lunch, very close to the Malaysian street food in taste. Nice pistos, yes. Can't go wrong with the pistos either. They always sell. Although whenever you see them in the shops, people seem to buy one of them and then they'll buy a male. So you tend to see quite a lot of tanks with just females in, which have down the cereals. Back me up on, because well, I think most of the pistos I saw in Maidenhead today were all female. I think there was one male. Um, the thing there, Bunny, is Mark is actually pretty close to Malaysia. No, how you doing? Do tell, Mark. You can't keep that one quiet. Four fish you'll never see again. Oh, you have to tell us what they are. Can't go keeping that one a secret unless you made a video for a big reveal. Um, Cribs are like that the other way around. Yep, you can breed them, but you can't sell them. Yeah, some stores offer a price for a pair. Yeah, that's what some of my locals, some of my LFSs do. Is it's a pair of Apistos. I'm walking with a dozen. There are 40 other angels in tanks. My pity level for those breeders was off the charts. A sick kid who's been watching baby songs all morning. Oh no. I mean, it's bad enough having a sick child, but oh, oh. Hello, Sarah. How you doing, my dear? Um, yeah, I can't think of much worse than having a sick child and having to listen to children's songs. It's bad enough having the radio on at work, tuned to something horrific. It's playing chart music. It all sounds like the same song for about an hour. Too big to ship. You mean you're now stuck with about 300 adult angelfish? Oh, hugs and kitties. Yay. Sending hugs and kitties back. Two upside down cats and two Synodontus eruptus. Ooh, eruptus. That sounds quite amusing. Upside down's fairly common around here. I do like the look of a Synodontus. I just never got around to getting them. I don't think I need any more sort of catfishy type fish in there at the moment. I've got 20 odd cories and however many bristlenoses. Two adults and don't know how many escape miniplex are in there. I know that Synodontus are pretty chill, so shouldn't be a problem, but hey, they might even eat some of the Limia fry. There's nothing else in there, is? Yeah. Got two chunky cichlids and a dwarfing a rainbow in there, and nothing's eating the baby live bearers. Probably the dwarf neon rainbow is quite old now, bless it. It's in there somewhere, probably hiding. Oh. Yeah, baby bristlies. Where you at, Dwarf Neon? Yep, he's hiding up somewhere. Either that or it's finally kicked the bucket. It's been the most enjoyable time. Why, thank you very much, Jeff. See you next week. Sorry, late. Who don't worry about being on time. I don't hold anyone to that. We all have lives. We all have things to do. But thank you very much for showing up and being here and spending your Sunday with us. All sorts of weirdness. Via con Dios. Oh, and a fart to say goodbye. Well, I did say in the description there would be flatulence. Yeah. So obviously I've not bought fish from Dan's Fish, so I can't necessarily comment on how good or bad they are, but from what I've seen and from what everyone I've heard has said, they are strong, healthy, happy fishies. Dan certainly knows what he's talking about. Well, I wish he wouldn't call himself a fishmonger, because a fishmonger is someone who sells dead fish. Or more specifically, usually bits of dead fish. I know it's probably something lost in the translation between English version 1.0 and 2.0, but still. Yeah, you're friendly fishmonger. I'm thinking, okay, where's the cod? Where's the place? Where's the bass? That means the same, yeah. It kind of threw me for a loop the first time I heard it. I was like, what? Blooming heck, there's a name. Stephen Mormon. Good evening, sir. Deep fried with chips. Yes. Best way for cod. We're not the kind of fishies that you sell and make money from. Yes, there's a lot more money in fish breeding than there is in scale modelling. Funny that. And good to see you, Steve. Hope you're all well. Only way for cod, yes, exactly. Such an ugly bottom feeder that the only way to improve it is to deep fry it in batter. Yeah. But yes, this is how I spend my Sunday evenings, randomly talking to random people. I say random people. I know most, if not all, the people in chat fairly well, so it's like hanging out down the pub with your mates. You just haven't got to deal with the pub and the public. Or if the public do show up, you can just boot them. It's really rather good. I'm on my way into growing corals, so far keeping them alive, but propitiation is slow. Oh, corals are slow-growing creatures. Got an albino, dispatch 2, missing an eye, otherwise no trouble at all. Spoiler alert, Sharpe, we're not here. You just talking yourself in a mental hospital. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time, Yella. Won't worry about that. They got very confused when they found me sitting there and the special coat sat on the floor beside me. You're not supposed to be able to get out of that. I can. Propagation. Yes. I thought there was a special term for how corals are grown and reproduce, because I'm not a salty person. Well, I'm a salty person, but I don't do salty tanks. There goes Crazy John again talking about fish. Yep, pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if I was in a nut house. Who miss us indeed. Um, I I think with coral is basically like they grow a new stem or something. You just snap that off when it's big enough, and then super glue it to a piece of whatever, a frag plug. That's it. But I couldn't do corals myself because those actinic lights give me migraines. And yeah, one reason why I don't spend too long around those areas of fish shops, if they've got those blue lights, I'll I can't stay there for more than a few minutes before I start getting a really bad headache. Um, so yeah, good job I don't work in one. Actually, I remember I did see someone today while I was at Maidenhead Aquatics. They went, "Oh, that's a very pretty. Oh, very pretty. Look at those. Oh, we could get some of those for our fish tank." Oh, we're looking at ghost koi. Yeah, I did say, yeah, you don't want a fish tank for those. You want a lake. Soft coral, easy to propagate. Just use a razor blade, cut the soft tissue, and let it attach to some rock in a little tub. Fair enough. I'm good at chopping things up with razor blades. Usually myself, accidentally, or small pieces of polystyrene or brass. Allegedly, yes, allegedly, accidentally. Um, Greed. Blue light doesn't work for me. Then I think part of what they say is that because certain lights, obviously different frequencies of light get blocked by water, red being the first one to go, and then blue being the final one. So, oh, well, they only get blue light in nature, so you need to give them blue light. You're thinking, yeah, but they're under the sun, which is a lot brighter than any aquarium light, and most corals aren't that deep. So they're getting a full spectrum light, I would assume. But then I don't really know. So I think part of it is to get the UV in there so that they do the weird glowy colours thing rather than just looking natural. Uh, so basically, you're stressing them out. I say the whole hobby, we're all learning constantly. But there's nobody who knows everything about fish keeping. I mean, there are some who think they are. Yeah, you can do corals and fish, just obviously don't do fish that eat coral. Things, I think most of the things sold in the aquarium trade for smaller marine tanks or home marine tanks aren't necessarily coral eaters. Generally, don't get big enough. But anything like parrotfish, nope. Always something to learn. Exactly. Um, I mean, scale modelling is always something to learn. It's not necessarily always about the modelling. It's normally more about the subject. But if you're not that hugely into the history of an exact vehicle, then once you know how to do stuffs, you know how to do stuffs. And once you stuck two bits of polystyrene together, you can stick any two bits of polystyrene together. Be a sponge, exactly. I like learning whatever the subject is. I mean, I'll, as most of you know, I don't watch TV, I just watch YouTube. And if a video turns up and I think, that might be quite interesting, I'll watch it. And if the presenter is interesting and seems to know what they're talking about, I'll watch. And I might watch more. And that leads me watching some very strange subjects that people might not think I'm interested in, like watchmaking, or horology, as it's called, or naval history, or can you grow sponges? You certainly can. You can grow freshwater and saltwater sponges. Trying to sponge has holes and things fall back out. Oh dear. Yeah, well, there's only so much storage space, and when you get to a certain point, you put more stuff in, and something has to come out the other end. And yeah, I think it was Homer Simpson who said that. When every time I learn something new, I forget something I already knew. It's one of those things that I'd have to watch a whole bunch of sort of beginner videos on saltwater tanks before I even thought about it. And then it'd be, okay, what can I try and breed in this saltwater tank? What can I make money from? You know, the depths of YouTube, look out the window, it's daylight, yes. Or you fall asleep watching a video about something completely tame and vaguely interesting, and end up waking up to some weird Japanese tentacle hentai video. And you're like, how the heck did it get there from Sherlock Holmes? Breeding is a whole different rabbit hole with salt, not my thing. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go, I'm guessing snails are fairly simple. So probably some turbo snails or something like that, but maybe shrimp. But I know breeding fish is a lot harder in salt than it is in fresh, because they go through the various larval stages, and feeding them is an absolute nightmare. So like getting clownfish to mate and produce eggs is the easy part. Actually getting baby clownfish is the hard part. Usually with freshwater, getting the baby fish is fairly easy. Once you've got them breeding, the baby fish is easy. It's then catching the little sods and getting them out of the tank. Intimidates the heck out of me. I mean, the one person I know who has had some success saltwater breeding is Mike, Fish Tank Barn. I think he bred clowns. I think he's bred other stuff as well. But yeah, I think you're probably doing it the right way with corals. To be honest, they're probably the easiest things to sell, breed, as it were. They're basically just sea plants. Let's be honest. I know they're a living animal, not a plant, but. And why does nobody have seaweed in their saltwater tanks? Dead when you're famous for breeding salt. I can breed salt. I can make people salty very easily. Sounds brutal, but yeah, it's the same way that apple trees are propagated. You chop a bit off of one, and you chop a bit off of another one, and you strap them together and hope they grow. Sounds brutal, but again, because herbivores eat it. But still, that's one of those things I wondered. There's a bit of seaweed in there would look nice wafting about in the currents and doing its thing, absorbing nutrients from the water. Perhaps a tank that hasn't got any herbivores in it then. Yeah, so we're looking at, oh, I'm guessing if you had mantis shrimp, you could put seaweed in with those, because they're not going to eat it. Now, they might tear it up just for the sheer hell of it, but Weirder things have happened. Here you go. Sharpe saltwater tank full of seaweed. One of these days I might get round to it, but there'll be a lot of videos to watch first. And a new tank. And lots more testing equipment to buy. And yeah, I'd probably go Fowler. Fish only with live rock. You're like growing your dinner in the living room. No, to be fair, if I ate plecos or if I ate courgettes, so I can grow algae quite happily. That's not a problem. So then it's the whole RO or buying ready-made salt water and yeah, grow some cod. I think I need a bigger pond for cod, Steve. Yeah. At the moment, comet goldfish and frogs is about all I grow in my pond, and snails, and bloodworms, and leeches, dragonflies, all sorts. Anyways, my 2 hours is up. I'm sure someone else is going next. I'm not sure who, but someone will be. Thank you to everyone for showing up, for being here, spending your Sunday evening with me, making me feel like I'm not just talking to myself for 2 hours. Ooh, have an adjustment. All right. Have a good week. Stay safe. Big hugs. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Meet me.